Hello and welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today really excited to be going to a little country, Latvia, and I'm going to ask our guest to give us a little bit of an introduction geography lesson as to where that is. We're going to Riga in Latvia, and really excited to meet Inese Kikule, who's the project director and partner of NEcom, which stands for Nords Event Communications. Welcome, Inese. Great to see you.
Hello, great to see you and great to be part of your fantastic inspirational talks. And yes, as you exactly said, and that's also our feeling, Latvia is so small country on the Baltic Sea coast that, okay, people in Europe maybe can put it on the place, but most people would be not able to be thinking, oh, is it Europe? But we are, yes, we are in Europe, and we are like squeezed in between, like we are having the Baltic states is kind of like sandwich. It's Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and then we are kind of in like our biggest neighbors, and people might be recognizing them would be Poland, Finland, and Russia on east. So it's Eastern Europe, but we kind of like struggling, and because of our weather conditions, we more consider we are Nordic country because it's you know, people normally would be having spring, summer, fall, and we have short summer, and then we have long gray periods. So it would be kind of like what do you do? Okay, when there is no snow, the best thing is to go out and you run, and that's why also we I guess we've been successful in developing our race that is totally kind of like small country people cannot put on map, but then we managed to get gold label in with a hard work, but okay, yes, we can show that like Latvians are hard workers, but we are also we are thinking big, and we are playing out of our league. That's something how I would be saying about most of Latvians, how we are.
Wonderful. Wow, that's great. Great. Thank you for the geography lesson. And yeah, a little bit of your background, because you told me you kind of got into this almost by accident. You're a psychologist and you were organizing some events and found that you had a flair for it. And you were saying you absolutely love your job. It feels like it's not a job most of the time. But tell us a little bit about your backstory, please, Inese.
Yes, I was by education, I'm a psychologist, but then by accident, I slowly, gradually got into event organizing. And then I was like, it was, we are talking about 15 years ago, about my past. And then I was working quite a lot in public health with HIV prevention, with young people, with teachers, sexual education, you know, all those issues. And also I was kind of like feminist #1 or gender equality expert in Latvia in those days. And running was my hobby. I started it just because, you know, in relationships, to keep couple together, you should do something together. And so my ex-husband used to be runner, and then I kind of like I joined in. And then we were a friend of groups training, like we did Berlin half marathon, we then did Medoc marathon. Okay, fun, fantastic fun.
Yeah.
And then we were training for Paris. And then it was more like accident. Our race director and good friend of mine, Igors Nords, he said, "Oh, Inese, I know you are kind of like looking for something inspirational in your life, and we got the rights to organize Riga Marathon, and you are a runner. Why don't you come and help us with a web page?" And I was like, it was early January 2007. I said, okay, maybe. I have no clue how web pages are functioning. Okay, but I am a runner, and I'm kind of good on learning. So I said, okay, let's try it. Like, it was part-time job at the beginning. And then, of course, we discovered, okay, like, or I discovered, okay, it's not only web page, it's also registration. It's also how you get money from people. So it's also about results, how you will be publishing them on the web page. Results means also course, it means also timing, it means also permissions from city, it means also road closures. So it would be kind of like you start, like, maybe it's not correct comparison I would be saying, but like Igors asked me to be kind of a nurse in army hospital just to help out. And in a month's time, I was kind of like general leading to all this army into the war. And it's kind of, okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? And you have to understand its like time span was really short. I'm talking early January when I started to set up web page. Then we started registration in March. And then in mid-May was already the race.
Wow.
So we put it together. It was kind of, okay, learning curve was incredible. And okay, yes, it was just 1,300 participants, but you can imagine all this kind of like, all this mess was happening in our lives, in our heads, and how we were trying to pull that together. But okay, it was not so bad. Like when I'm looking back and I'm looking, okay, no, you did not so bad. But of course there was incidents and curiosities, and if I'm having time, there is one that I guess I will be thinking about for the rest of my life, about one of those things. Imagine your first race morning. You are kind of, you've been struggling all the nights, that police cars in the wrong place, just not because the police is doing wrong, but because you did not tell them to do right. Then volunteers are somewhere wrong place. Then fences, like the track is breaking down. Then you kind of like, you discover that there are some places they put in the middle of the street, so they are kind of flipping over. And you kind of all the night you've been struggling with all that. And then the morning is coming, you are finisher area, you are setting up, and then you are kind of, you think, okay, 2-3 hours until the start. And you feel like, okay, you've done the best. And then I'm looking on this water that is in finish area, on those pallets of plenty of water. And there's something saying me, there's something wrong, but I cannot immediately recognize what is wrong. And then the sun is rising, you are kind of like getting ready. And then I'm looking on those waters and I say, okay, I don't like the color of those labels. It's sparkling water. And you imagine 3 hours before the race, you discover that you are having a pool, like all the finish area is full with sparkling water. Okay, we resolved it. And spectators said, oh, those race organizers are fantastic. They were sparkling over for all the spectators over the finish area. But it was kind of
solution. Like every problem creates an opportunity. That's amazing. I'd love to come back and speak some more about that. And it's incredible that success is built into a gold label events with 38,000 participants in it. What a great success story. But tell us a little bit. I think everyone's curious. You know, what's happening with COVID all over the world. Everyone wants to understand what others are doing, and you know what's happening with COVID there at the moment.
You know, we were I don't know, lucky or unlucky, because when the first wave hit the world, actually Latvia was in a way protected. We had just let's say a couple of like 20 cases per week. So you can imagine that it was kind of like more in people's minds, what would be that, okay, it's more like flu. It's not so serious because people are not getting it. Yet politically, we did exactly the same thing as all the world. We announced state of emergency. We put businesses on stop. There was lockdown, not total lockdown as in Europe. People still could go out and do sport, but there was no events. But that also created a bit of kind of, as we were calling it, bubble thinking, that, okay, we are kind of living in our bubble. All the bad things are coming from abroad. So just close the borders, don't let people fly in, and we are protected. And of course, like it worked for the first wave, and over the summers, and we get back into organizing, like different events started to happen. But then in fall, in September, like we were like boasting, okay, there's Baltic bubbles, and that we are safe. Then there was Latvian bubble, and then it bursted. And we understood that, okay, we are exactly like all the rest of people. We are not immune to COVID, and then it hit. But in the people minds, like this first wave, and it was kind of like, it created a bit of kind of this brevity, this kind of, okay, so okay, if it's them, it's not us. And then we did some strategic mistakes, like we did not start wearing face masks, and that took too long until people learned to do those things, that we okay, second wave hit us badly, and now we are exactly where all the rest is. And vaccination
are you in lockdown at the moment? The third wave's hitting, or you're able to do
okay, we never get out of the second one. We are still kind of on the second, it's lockdown. It's the best thing is that we still can do running, although we are having a lot of snow, so people would be going also for cross country skiing. You can do sports, like you can go for running. We never seen what Europe had seen, this total lockdown, that you are not allowed to leave your apartment. So that never hit Latvia. So people would be going out and walking and doing sports. But of course, in people's minds, people are tired of that. They kind of like they're waiting, okay, when it will be over. And then it's our narrative. We kind of like we were looking and we said, okay, it's never going to be over. You have to learn to live with that. So we kind of, it's also our, like we learned the lesson about being too brave and too bold with our race last October when it was last minute cancelled.
Yeah, I was going to
Now
ask you about that. So, some of the challenges. Just tell us about that one. Your race was cancelled with a couple of days' notice. Is that right?
I would be not saying a couple of days notice. It was Friday afternoon when they started to decide, and it's on cabinet's level. And then finally, by 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday, they took the decision that it's prohibited to organize races with more than 300 participants.
Wow. And
so,
how many entrants did you have?
Altogether, we had 14,000.
Right.
And it would kind of like if we would be having a bit more of time and to reschedule, like we had 1,042K runners, like marathon runners. So technically, and also police of like the chief of police was saying, oh, listen, people, let's do it. Like we can put those people in batches, but it's okay. It's night. All the setup is going on. Like you've been planning all the start area. You've been discussing that with the Ministry of Health, with all the people involved. So you kind of like you set it all up and you understand. Okay, you cannot overdo it in 3 hours, like because it's already in full speed. You are setting up already. All the constructions are built. All the fences are out. Everything, and like people are working in the city. It was literally 15 minutes before we needed to start first street closures. And so it was kind of like, it was okay, no, we don't do it. We are canceling the physical race. But one of the things what we kind of okay, I don't know if it's intuition, if it's professionalism or what, but we had plan B. We never thought that we'll be needing to use it, but kind of we started this virtual club earlier in June. And then we kind
I'd love to pick up something you told me when you mentioned the virtual club, because time's running fast as it always does on these things. But you gave me a wonderful quote earlier on. You said you felt like you were in a dark room and there was a black cat there and you weren't sure whether the cat was there or not. That was what it felt like trying to work out what to do with virtual races. What a great quote. Tell us just a little bit about that that virtual event and the virtual club and how it helped you to kind of pivot when you had to cancel the event.
Oh yeah, that was actually when we started the club, we were more like in this first COVID wave when people were like, okay, we were not so much hit by disease itself. And we were kind of like thinking, okay, how can we entertain people? How can we kind of still give the sponsors what we've been giving in our contracts, like the promises? And then we, and it's like, it sounds now easy, like, but it was not overnight decision. It was kind of like so many nights thinking, like each of us, long brainstorms. I hated those brainstorms because you would be sitting there, you would be kind of like going through back and forth. And then we came up with the idea, okay, let's go for virtual club and let's make it like available free of charge for everyone. You just join in. And then like we partnered with Sports Heroes Group.
Yeah, and you were saying that was kind of like almost, you kind of almost brought charity to Latvia. It was a country that really didn't focus so much on charity, and you got this incredible amount of giving and engagement from the community as a result of that virtual event that was focused on fundraising.
Oh yeah, and we've been doing in real events, like we are looking on London and so many charities and Berlin and New York, and then in Latvia there was none. And then suddenly we said, okay, why don't we put this charity into the club? So for 2 weeks we asked people to run for charity, and we are talking about children with disability, with women disabilities. And then we said, okay, you go out, you can do it. Those children cannot, so you donate for Children Foundation, so that people who are working with them are getting more support. And then it was kind of started like snowball rolling down the hill. And it was enormous success, and we will be keeping to people ask for going out to donate and keep moving. Yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful, I mean, there's so much we can talk about. You spoke about how fundamentally you brought running to Latvia. People used to think running was professional. Now people understand that it's for fun, office workers and so on. But as always, time kind of like runs away with us. And I'd love to end with an inspiring story. I mean, your story is incredibly inspiring itself. But have you got a little inspiring story that you're able to finish us off with for the viewers to listen to, please, Inese?
Oh yeah, one thing definitely. What I would wanting to share with audience is it's something that is kind of quite specific for Latvia, and we do like to bring arts into sports. And one thing we are really proud of, and also happened like an accident, is our T-shirt series. Like each year we are asking Latvian artists to create a special T-shirt, like a special design we are putting on those T-shirts. Okay, when I'm saying it happened as an accident, it was just back in 2008. Like we had T-shirts for 2007, of course, typical race logo, race title, you sell them out and you are kind of happy. Then next year come, you're having the same amount of T-shirts. So if you're putting logo on race, okay, people are already having it, they would not be buying it. And it was just accident. There was a famous Latvian artist into the office, and we were passing by her, and we said, "Oh, Elita, would you be loving to create design for our T-shirt?" And she said, "Let me think about that." 2 days later, she's coming back with a fantastic design, and so the new tradition was started. And so each year, it's kind of like, okay, it's this sweet and sour problem of who will be designing our T-shirt. Like, so we ask Latvian designers to create something special. Sometimes it's about Riga, sometimes it's about how they feel about running, but each year it's something very, very, very special design. And if I still have time, we had really fantastic way how we solved. Latvia was having like 100 years of independence, so of course you need to put something big on it. Yes. And then we came up with the idea, why don't we buy an auction some work of somebody who has been working 100 years ago, like Latvian artist. So it was a bit like Thomas Crown affair. So we went to this exhibition before auction, and we saw, okay, this is the artwork we want to put on our T-shirt, but we don't want to show that we are interested in it. So we were, okay, this is nice artwork, and you are kind of like looking, okay, this is the one we want, but we don't want to kind of increase the price. So at the end, we got fantastic artwork on to put on from famous Latvian artist who was working and graphic designer who was working 100 years ago, and we got them on our centenary T-shirts. So it was kind of okay, yes. So this is fun part. What we love about behind the scenes, that how you do and how you create those stories, and also it's the same for medals. What we do. It's the same how we are thinking about entertainment on the course, and this is why we want to make Riga special. We are small, but we want to be noticed by the things what we do.
Wow, what wonderful stories, and clearly you've achieved so much of that to get a gold label in such a short period of time, to grow to 38,000 participants. I can't wait to come and visit and meet you in person one day, and really just wanted to thank you so much. We could talk for another hour, I'm sure, and looking forward to keeping in contact and certainly coming. It looks like an absolutely beautiful place, and hope to meet you there one day. But Inese, thank you so much for making the time. It's been wonderful.
Okay, thank you, and welcome to Riga on August 29th, so when there's a next race. Hopefully there's a real race happening, and it will be glad. We are glad because there are so many international runners coming, and we want to welcome all of you, and I hope it's as much fun running there as organizing.
Wonderful, I'm sure it is. Hopefully I can be part of that one day. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you, and thank you so much for inviting me. Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.